Dudes, it's Gaz, and welcome back to another Warframe video. So, believe it or not, they've already changed the previewed abilities of Aroxia. Basically an hour after my video yesterday, or like 15 minutes after my video yesterday, DE did change the abilities of the new spider frame on the hype site. We'll be discussing those today in depth, doing some early theory crafting and ideas. Before we get into this stuff though, make sure to sub this channel, do daily Warframe video uploads, build videos, news videos, all that kind of stuff. You're right place for Warframe content. I thought I'd put some footage of the previous newest frame, Temple, in the background, just to show how strong Temple became after some good builds and all that stuff. So yeah, Aroxia got her abilities massively changed after yesterday. I don't think the abilities from yesterday were ever actually to get added. Thankfully, that passive was really bad yesterday. If you didn't know, yesterday in my previous video, Aroxia's old passive was on finisher kill, you get increased HP by 10, stacking up to 1,000 extra health. So yeah, I'm glad they removed that. She's got a much better passive now, and actually she might be really strong for Void Cascades. Let's hop right in to what Aroxia's new abilities do. And Ryder, this is coming out on June 25th, so like the end of the month basically. Okay, so let's get to what we have here for Aroxia's current abilities. And you know what's funny too? They actually edited this like 3 times yesterday. So the current version of her abilities have a lot of stuff added to them. So let's start with her new passive, okay? No longer finisher kills give you HP. We got Predator's Lurk. Wall latching grants Predator's Lurk, rendering Aroxia invisible for an 8-second duration. So now when we go over what her ult does now, this would be a little bit better. But yes, wall latching makes you invisible for 8 seconds. So immediately we start thinking about what could be good with Aroxia here. There is the Arcane Crepuscular Arcane, which gives you increased damage, increased power strength, increased crit damage while wall latched. There's also the arcane called Arcane Arachne, which kind of plays into what this frame is designed after. Arcane Arachne, basically Arcane Spider, after wall latching gives you increased damage for weapons. So those two arcanes are already screaming out to me off this passive. She's also, when we go further too, she's a weapon buffer frame. And she also is going to want power strength too. So Arcane Arachne, Arcane Crepuscular, maybe like Multi-Augmented or something like that are going to be great options to start with. And we actually got some more, once we get to the third, I got some even more theory crafted stuff for you here. So yeah, good stuff there. 8 seconds is not that long, but you're going to be moving around anyway too, so don't worry about it. But yeah, great for camping, great for mostly camping, but also like stealth damage too. Looking at her first ability, it didn't get changed that much from yesterday, but now it does drop health energy orbs. Mercy's Kiss, her first ability, basically Spider Bite. Leap onto an enemy and pierce them with Aroxia's spider legs, dealing toxin damage. Enemies affected by this attack, enemies defeated by this attack have a chance to drop health energy orbs. So, depends if it's actually, this needs the number, we need the numbers on this one, but this might just get replaced by Roar in the end, because her third ability, her Spider Spawn, might be her best ability, or her ulti or her third might be her best abilities. But yeah, it now drops health energy orbs, we'll have to see how many orbs it drops, but a single target execute ability does not really seem like my idea of a meta 2025 frame, so might potentially get helmet off on that one. Next, Webbed Embrace no longer has a toxin damage listed as its ability, it now causes a damage vulnerability. So basically, Webbed Embrace, Aroxia throws a creeping web to ensnare her prey. Enemies caught within the web, the widening radius, are trapped inside a cocoon that increases their damage vulnerability. This is where range is starting to sound a little bit useful on her, but again, it's going to be mostly power strength, it's looking like, because it has a damage vulnerability tied to it as well. So if we get all this stuff the way it is shown right now, we'll have a damage vulnerability from her too. If we replace her one, you have a damage buff. You'll be able to go invisible with her passive, and then her ulti is going to be a damage buff as well. So she'll be very good at doing damage. The third ability, though, is where we're going to start theory crafting a lot here. Widow's Brood. So this I believe, changed a little bit from yesterday, but the big thing here is it's still a spider summoning ability. Aroxia launches a barrage of stinging darts in front of her that applies toxin status effects. Poisoned enemies spawn scuttlers when killed. So that line right there is important. Poisoned enemies spawn scuttlers when killed. Scuttlers, I'm assuming, are going to be her little mini spiders, because what else would they be? I mean, we'll have anything else called a scuttler in this game. So I'm starting to think right now, Summoner's Wrath. Summoner's Wrath, let's even take it a step further with the arcanes that are going to be good at her. So if you don't know what Summoner's Wrath is, let's start off with that. So Summoner's Wrath is a relatively new aura mod where it's going to buff the damage of companions. So that's going to be hopefully counting her little spider minions as that. So yeah, increase companion damage and summon damage by 75%. That is quite good. So you throw this in with Roar and her damage vulnerability, and we're not done yet. Since they're going to all cause toxin procs, Archon Continuity, I believe, would be a very good option here. Increase the ability duration by 55%. Abilities that inflict a toxin status effect will now apply a corrosive status effect. So you have corrosive toxin spiders, but we're not done. If you get a kit gun weapon, and you put on the arcane called, what's this called? Residual Virimia, on kit gun kill, 20% chance to create a toxin, a pool of toxic blood for 12 seconds. Doing toxin, but staying in the area will apply toxin to your Theorem Arcane. So you put on Theorem or Residual Virimia with a kit gun, you get some kills, and if you find a way to do this, I'm just saying this works on Necros really well. I'm not sure if it will work on her. You put on Theorem Infection. This might be really good on her. Standing in a zone created by a Residual Arcane increases the damage of companions and summoned allies within 90 meters by 24%, stacking up to 15 times. Effect persists upon 20 seconds upon leaving the zone. So, if we got Summoner's Wrath, we got Theorem Infection doing like 400% toxin damage for our pets, and we have Roar and damage vulnerability, those things are going to be going crazy, I think. And there's other arcanes too. Not exactly for kit guns, but I believe there's a newer one. We have Arcane Camisado or something like that, where it buffs summons, or it might actually buff your strength. It's something like that. So, attacks from summoned minions increase ability strength by 6% up to 60 on the next cast. Summons also gain increased movement speed. This is something to think about too. This is going to be probably less damage for your companions, but it'll also have more movement speed depending on how their toxin spreading thing works. This might be useful because Theorem Infection is annoying to proc. It's a massive damage buff though, so I say this is worth considering. And while we're at it too, since we're going to be doing so much toxin damage on Aroxia, make sure you got some of those green shards too to do the increased toxin proc damage, like the Saren shards, basically. We haven't gone over her ult, but her ult is going to be kind of like a Saren as well. So let's go over that before we maybe put a bow on this and maybe talk about a little bit of a build idea here. So for the last ability here, her ulti, what did they change? Well, they didn't change that much, but they did add some exciting stuff. Mainly, she's going to make enemies explode now when they die. So for her ulti, they have the proper description now. It's called Silken Stride. Unfurl Aroxia spider legs and go on the prowl. Aroxia is immune to status effects and has increased HP. Increased HP, probably what her passive turned into. But here's the best part. Ranged weapons are imbued with toxin damage. And the even better part, killing enemies cause them to burst with toxin. So she has like a mini acid shells built into her ult. That was not there yesterday. So a massive, massive buff here. And this is where the toxin shards and roar are starting to sound really, really juicy, pun intended. So she's going to make enemies explode in AoE toxin on death. Now, what we need to learn is that will range affect this? Additionally, she gets another ability too called Silken Thread. Tap dodge to leap to a targeted surface. She'll be able to jump from wall to wall with her ulti to stay invisible for longer. So Predator's Lurk, you're going to wall latch, you'll be invisible for 8 seconds. You're gonna jump from that wall to another wall with Silken Thread by tapping dodge, and you'll be basically permanent invincible as Aroxia. You won't be invincible as you jump from wall to wall, I'm assuming. But, while you're on that wall, you'll be invisible again, getting Arcane Crepuscular and probably Arcane Arachnate proc. So, yeah, this sounds really, really good. If you don't know what Acid Shells is on Saren, basically, Acid Shells is a mod for the Sobek that makes enemies explode on death. And when you use Saren's third ability, or Cyno9's second ability for that matter, you will force DOT procs on these enemies, and it makes them chain explode. Because the Toxin procs of Saren's 3 do count for this augment. So I'm thinking it might be something like that, like right here. Enemies explode on death, causing corrosive damage in a 15-meter radius. I don't think it will be a 15-meter radius on Aroxia's ult at base, but if it's anything like this, and it causes the toxin procs on their death, she sounds like she'll be really fun. Again, this will work on every ranged weapon kill you have. So tell me that doesn't sound good to you. So now that we've gone over all her current abilities, what do we have as a frame here? We have a frame that is going to be a weapon focus and also a little bit damage focus, just like yesterday, but now she's going to be a little bit more sustainable with getting energy orbs from her 1. Also, she's been doing a lot of damage, potentially a lot of AoE toxin damage too, with her ulti, causing range kills, make enemies explode in toxin. We'll see how that scales, we'll see what mods will work on that and stuff like that. We'll see if, you know, for example, like will weapon buffs like Bay of the Grenadier apply to the AoE like it applies to acid shells? Will the spiders be able to make exploding enemies as well from their bites? Like, should we focus on the spiders more, or should we focus on her ulti more? Like, we'll see how focused on guns, like where the meter lies with guns and ability damage on her. But I'm thinking right now that buffing those spiders up might be a really good idea. But also, if she was just her ult right now, the way she is, if she was just her ult, I would still play her because her ult sounds really, really good. So I'll see you guys in the next video. Hopefully no more reworks for Aroxia before she comes out. And yeah, I'm just glad she's not having that pass from yesterday. That was like literally the worst passive I could think of. So I'll see you guys in the next video. Appreciate the support. If you have any ideas for Aroxia Theorycraft, I'll probably be on stream tonight. You can come talk about it there or in the comments of this video. I'll see you guys then. Take it easy. Bye.